I used to think stalkers only targeted women, that guys like me were safe from that kind of nightmare. But what happened to me in 2019 completely shattered that belief. It started with harmless messages and ended with me sleeping in my car for a week because I was too afraid to go home. My name's Ryan. Back then, I was 22, finishing my second year of college in Spokane, Washington. I was a quiet guy. Not antisocial, just not the party type. I worked part-time at a grocery store, played games online, and posted occasionally on Reddit and Instagram. Most of my friends lived off campus, so I rented a small basement apartment behind an older couple's house. It was cheap and private. I thought I'd lucked out. The first weird thing happened in late October. Spokane winters get dark early, and one night around 9 p.m., I got an Instagram DM from an account I didn't recognize. No profile picture, no posts, just the username, "I see you smiling," and a single message, "You have a nice laugh." I remember staring at it, confused. My profile wasn't public. I figured maybe it was someone from school. Maybe someone saw one of my stories before I made my account private. I didn't reply. Over the next week, I kept getting messages. Always one line, always personal. "That red hoodie looks good on you. You shouldn't walk home alone. You were humming something yesterday. What song was that?" Each time I blocked the account, but a new one would appear within hours. The usernames changed slightly. "Still watching you, smiling with you, you look cold." Same tone, same eerie familiarity. By early November, I started noticing little things. I'd wake up and see my front doormat slightly moved, or a faint shoe print on the steps. One night I came home to find my front light unscrewed, like someone didn't want to be seen. I reported it to the landlord, but he brushed it off. "Probably some kid messing around," he said. "You know how Halloween season gets." I wanted to believe that. I really did. Then came the Polaroid. One morning I found a small envelope taped to my door. Inside was a photo, a Polaroid shot of me walking to my car. From the angle, whoever took it had been standing maybe 20 feet away behind the neighbor's fence. On the back of the photo, written in neat, tiny handwriting, "You forgot your keys." And the scariest part? I had dropped my keys that morning. I'd found them next to my tire minutes later. That's when I called the police. They took a report, said they'd patrol the area, but I could tell they didn't take it seriously. "No threats, no break-ins, nothing we can act on," the officer said. He suggested installing a camera. I did that the same night, a small ring camera above my door. The footage started as normal. A few cars, the neighbor's cat, and delivery guys. Then around 3:12 a.m. on a Wednesday, I woke to the Ring app pinging my phone. Motion detected. I opened it groggily and froze. The video showed a man standing at my door, tall, wearing a hoodie and what looked like a Halloween mask, a featureless white face. He just stood there for almost a minute, staring directly into the camera. Then he lifted something. It was another Polaroid camera. He snapped a photo of the Ring cam, waved, and walked out of frame. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I showed the footage to the police. They said they'd keep an eye out, but again, there wasn't much they could do. That night, I went to stay at a friend's dorm. When I came back 2 days later, I found another envelope, this time inside my apartment. It was on my kitchen counter, next to the sink. I still remember the way my stomach dropped when I saw it. Inside was a single Polaroid, me asleep on my couch, taken from the hallway. The note on the back said, "You look peaceful when you're not scared." I don't remember much after that. I called 911, shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. The cops arrived within 10 minutes. They found signs that someone had forced the lock open with a screwdriver. Clean and quiet. No fingerprints, no footprints, nothing. They took it seriously this time. They told me to pack a bag and stay somewhere else for a while. So I did. I crashed with a buddy named Ethan for a week, too scared to go back. But on the 5th night, around 2 a.m., Ethan shook me awake. "Bro, someone just rang the doorbell." We froze. We lived on the 2nd floor of an apartment complex. Nobody ever came that late. When we looked through the peephole, there was no one there. But taped to the door was another envelope. Inside, a Polaroid of Ethan's apartment door taken from the outside with the caption, "You brought a friend." The police moved fast after that. They pulled local footage, questioned people, even assigned a detective. Turns out, there'd been reports of a man matching the description of the masked figure near my area, watching people from his car, following them home. But he was never caught. I moved back to my parents' place in Seattle a month later, changed my phone, deleted social media, and started therapy. It's been years now, but I still can't shake the feeling of being watched. I keep curtains drawn at all times, and I can't sleep unless every door is locked, checked twice. Last month, I got a new phone. New number, new email, clean slate. 3 days after activating it, I got a text from an unknown number. "You still look peaceful when you sleep." I smashed that phone to pieces, but sometimes when I wake up in the dark, I swear I can hear the faint click of a camera somewhere in the room.
There's a part of Idaho my friends and I don't talk about anymore. Not because of what we saw, but because of what we heard. When I close my eyes, I can still hear it calling my name. And the worst part is, it sounded exactly like me. My name's Jake. I grew up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, a small town surrounded by endless forests and quiet lakes. I've always loved camping. My dad used to take me out every summer, and by the time I hit 21, I knew every trail within a 50-mile radius. In the summer of 2018, 3 friends and I, Tyler, Ben, and Eric, decided to do a weekend camping trip near Priest Lake. We'd found an old logging road on a map that supposedly led to a secluded ridge with a great view of the mountains. It wasn't on any official trail lists. That made it perfect for us. We packed light, tents, a cooler, 2 rifles, just in case of bears, and a small generator for music and lights. We left Friday morning and reached the end of the dirt road by noon. From there, we hiked about an hour into the woods until we found a clearing big enough for 2 tents. It was perfect. Pine trees all around, a creek nearby, no cell service, just the sound of wind and running water.
The first night was great. Fire, beers, dumb jokes. Around midnight, the forest went completely silent. No wind, no crickets, nothing. It was like someone hit mute on nature itself. Tyler noticed it first. "Yo, anyone else hear that?" We all went quiet. It wasn't that we heard something, it was that we didn't. That dead silence stretched for what felt like forever, until Eric laughed and said we were being paranoid. Eventually, the forest noises returned, and we went to bed.
The next morning, I woke up early to pee. I stepped outside the tent, stretched, and noticed something weird. There were footprints in the dirt around our camp, but not ours. Bare footprints. They were small, like a child's, maybe size 5 or 6. But the weird part? They started at the edge of the trees and ended right between our tents. No return tracks, just stopped. I woke the guys up. We joked about it. Ghost kid, feral child, all that. But there was an edge to the laughter. We were 30 miles from the nearest town. That night, the silence came earlier, around 10 p.m. And this time, there was a sound.
It was faint at first, like humming, coming from the woods beyond the creek. A soft, rhythmic hum that rose and fell, like someone was whispering through a closed door. Ben grabbed a flashlight and called out, "Hello?" The humming stopped instantly. Then, from the darkness, came my voice. "Hello?" The guys turned toward me, but I hadn't said a word. The voice came again, identical to mine, tone and all. "Hello?" It echoed faintly across the trees. Tyler swore under his breath. "Jake, that sounded like you, man." "I know," I said quietly. "I didn't say anything." We didn't sleep much that night. By morning, we were jumpy. None of us admitted how scared we were, but you could feel it. We packed up early, but before we left, I wanted to check something. Across the creek was a small rise, covered in ferns and fallen logs. That's where the sound had come from. I told the others to wait, grabbed my flashlight, and crossed over. The ground was soft, damp. The air smelled like metal, sharp and cold. About 20 feet in, I found a small circle of cleared ground. At the center was a pile of smooth stones arranged in a spiral with small animal bones placed between them. And sitting in the middle was my backpack. Not just any backpack, mine, the same one I'd left zipped inside my tent. Every pocket was empty except one. Inside was a small cassette tape. No label, no markings. I called the guys over. Tyler turned pale. "Dude, that's the creepiest thing I've ever seen." We didn't play the tape there. We just left. Packed up, hiked out, and didn't talk much on the way back. That night, back at Tyler's place, curiosity got the better of us. We dug out an old cassette player from his dad's garage and pressed play. At first, it was just static, a low hiss. Then, faintly, we heard breathing. Slow, uneven. Then a voice, mine again. "It's okay, you can come closer." Then another voice, deeper and distorted, replied, "You came back." We shut it off immediately. No one said anything for a long time. We tried to laugh it off later, call it a prank, but none of us ever figured out how that tape or my bag ended up there. No one else knew where we were going, and we didn't post anything online about the trip. Tyler moved out of state a few months later. Eric joined the military. Ben stopped going camping altogether. As for me, last year, I found that cassette again. It was sitting on the hood of my truck one morning, wrapped in a plastic bag. No footprints, no note, just the tape. I threw it away without playing it. But sometimes, when I'm walking home late at night, I hear faint humming behind me. The same rhythm, the same pitch. And once, I swear I heard it whisper my name, my own voice just a few steps behind. If you ever find a place in the woods where the forest goes silent, don't listen for what's there. It's already listening for you. It's been 4 years, and I still don't know what I saw in that house. I've tried therapy, medication, even hypnosis, but none of it erased the sound, that quiet knocking that came from inside the walls. My name's Matt. I used to live in a quiet neighborhood outside Boise, Idaho, one of those calm suburban streets where everyone waves to each other, and the loudest thing you'll ever hear is a lawnmower. I'd bought my first house there in 2020. Small, one-story, nothing fancy. It was cheap because the previous owner had left suddenly. That's what the realtor said. At first, life there was perfect. I worked remotely in IT, kept to myself, and spent most nights gaming or watching TV. The house was old, but sturdy. The walls creaked a bit and the plumbing rattled sometimes, but that's what you get with 70s construction. The first weird thing happened in late February, about 2 weeks after I moved in. I was sitting on the couch watching a movie when I heard 3 slow knocks coming from the wall behind me. Not the door, not the window, the wall. It sounded hollow,
like someone gently tapping from the other side. I paused the movie, listened, nothing. I checked outside thinking it might be an animal or something else, but the wall that noise came from was the interior one. It backed up to the hallway, not the outside. I told myself it was pipes or the house settling, but deep down, something felt off about the rhythm. 3 knocks, perfectly spaced, human. The knocking started happening every few nights, always around 11:30 p.m. 3 slow, deliberate taps. Sometimes from the living room wall, sometimes from the bedroom, once from the ceiling. I started recording it on my phone, but every time I hit record, it would stop. No matter how fast I tried, it always went silent the moment I pointed my camera toward it. Then came the smell, like wet metal and mold, faint but sharp, seeping through the vents. I called a plumber and an exterminator. Both checked the house top to bottom. Nothing. No leaks, no dead animals, no structural damage. A week later, I woke up to find a small hole in the drywall behind my bed, the size of a coin. It hadn't been there before. Inside was darkness, just a tiny black opening. I shined a flashlight into it. The beam reflected off something metallic deep inside, maybe wiring. But I could have sworn I saw movement. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound in the house made me flinch. Then, around 1 a.m., I heard whispering, soft, muffled, coming from the same wall. I pressed my ear to it. At first, it was gibberish, like static or someone talking through a fan. Then a voice, faint but unmistakably human, said, "Don't look again." I stumbled back, heart racing. My dog, a small terrier, started barking like crazy, facing the same wall. The sound of scratching followed, not on the surface, inside the wall. The drywall flexed slightly, like something was pressing against it from behind. I grabbed my keys and ran outside, sat in my car till sunrise. The next morning, I called the landlord who'd sold me the place. He hesitated when I described what was happening. Finally, he said, "I thought we fixed that when we renovated." That stopped me cold. Fixed what? He sighed. The previous owner, he wasn't well, claimed people were living in the walls. We found holes all through the place, like he'd been trying to reach them. I didn't know what to say. I asked if anyone had actually found something. He was quiet for a long time, then said, "We sealed everything. If it's happening again, maybe it's just the house settling." That night, I didn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., I heard the knocks again, louder this time. 3, then silence. Then a whisper. "You shouldn't have looked." I turned on all the lights, packed a bag, and left. I moved in with a friend for 2 weeks. When I finally went back to check on the place, I found every wall in the living room covered with new holes. Dozens of them, perfectly round, small, like someone had punched through with a metal pipe. Inside each one, carved into the wood, was a word, over and over again. Listen. I sold the house 2 months later. I never told the new buyer about what happened, partly because I didn't think they'd believe me, partly because I still can't explain it myself. I moved to an apartment in the city, surrounded by noise, people, and concrete. I sleep better now, mostly. But sometimes, when it's late and everything goes quiet, I swear I can hear faint tapping in the walls, 3 slow knocks. And once, when I pressed my ear to the drywall, I heard it whisper again, "I'm still here." I don't watch horror movies anymore, not because I'm scared of ghosts, but because I know they always make one mistake. They stay long enough to find out what's knocking.